Sale bajo de contento por su cargamento para la ciudad, para la ciudad. Lleva en su pensamiento todo de felicidad, de felicidad. Piensa remediar la situación. Lugar que es joven, ilusión, sí. También su palabra atrás de ti, que aquel cantar es todo un niño de alegría. En eso les sorprende a luz del día. Y llegan al mercado de la ciudad. They have faced wars, racism, and exploitation, and were pushed back when they sought refuge and justice. They have faced a sickness, both real and metaphorical, and still we persist. Pasar la mañana entera sin que nadie quiera subir a comprar ahí, subir a comprar. Todo está desierto, el pueblo ya está muerto de necesidad, ay, de necesidad. Si hoy este lamento por doquier, de la desdichada por en quien sí, y triste, el guitarrito va llorando así, pensando así, diciendo así, llorando así por el camino. ¿Qué será de Borinquen, mi Dios querido? ¿Qué será de mis hijos y de mi hogar? Borinquen, la tierra del Edén, la que el cantar, el gran Gutiérrez llamó la perla de los mares. Ahora que tú te mueres con tus pesares, déjame que te cante yo también. La, la, let us persist, let us resist, let us unify. Mil gracias.
Thank you, Deborah. Sylvia Montero, a talented printer, printmaker, and photographer, travels on a path of her own footsteps, guided by her Apache and Mexican ancestors. The hands of this indigenous woman, in reflecting her heart and our histories, create the beautiful and provocative images you are about to see. Amor, me detienes dijo apasionada, tengo un amor que en mi vida dejó para siempre amar todo. Pobre de mí, esta vida mejor que se acabe, no es para mí.
These are all pictures from Cuba.
Cuánto sufre mi pecho que late tan solo por ti. Por un amor he llorado casi tantas of the darkness in midnight. What can you say? Thank you, Sylvia, for those stunning stunning art pieces. Margie Domingo, I'm sorry, here we go. Margie Domingo is a Chicana poet of the 90s who embraces the passages and strength of womanhood. Her rich blood of Mexican and Filipino ancestry reflects the existential theme of this mestiza. She offers her poem of self-actualization in surviving this culture as a woman of color.
When I'm in your presence, will my existence be an essence of your time? Please, let my existence be born. My soul conceived now is born. I am Chicana. I am brown, I am red. I am born to this land of my heritage. The shock of life was pounding, forcing my soul to endure the climactic reality of existence. The discovery of life bursting with poetic expression, a stream of truth flowing like a waterfall. My mother is the earth. My father is the sun. I am the child of your past, your present, your time to come. I am Azteca, the root of your ancestors. I am la soldadera, la mujer de la revolución. I am Mexicana, la mestiza of your ancestors. I am Chicana, mixed blood of ancestors. La mujer grande walks in silence and stands in reverent thought, for she understands the threat to her soul of the ripping torrential rains and screaming clouds that clap in her ears. You're not enough. You're not enough. Racism is a virus without a temperature. Unless you gauge freezing streams of blood in veins, a look of hate wearing a mask of denial. Their children scream in streets, go back, back from where you came. You don't belong. There's no room for you here. Patience, I cry, patience. Be proud. You are in your right place. Stay in line. Your soul is safe. Follow the light. Lead the young. Stand or march. It is your right. Believe. Don't look back. Don't look down. Stay and fight. I pray to the God of fire. Warm our hearts with peace and hope. May the God of rain bring a soothing shower of faith. Wash the blood from our wounds. Cleanse our minds to think, do what's right. Be mindful of our enemies. Justice will be served. Women do belong. They found their space, took a challenge, joined the race, burning bras, not afraid to go straight up. Department chairs, presidents, managers, and CEOs, independent thinkers, now tell others where they can go. Speak their minds on war and strife. Who should be a senator, or who should lead your life? Lamenting the chant, give me a chance, give me a chance. In our halls of justice, women shout, this is a soap opera. I know what you're about. Move aside, step aside. I can do it, I can do it. I've been watching all my life. We are here. We are here where we belong. Thank you. Remember, your existence matters. You do have value.
Gracias, Margie. That was beautifully expressed. Our daughter, Guadalupe Herrera, honors the legacy of labor and gifts handed down through generations of field workers and singers of influence. And now, guided by the spirit of her mother, Juanita, she reaches for the children who have no connection to the warmth of Mamás in her story and in her song.
I am my mother's daughter, de Colores, and welcome to my home. My mom, Juanita Herrera, was born in Mexico, León, Guanajuato. She came here as a very young child. She was 5 years old when she first came here to the United States with her parents. While here in the United States, she was able to go and get somewhat of an education. She went as high as the 3rd grade. After that, the family had to utilize her to work in the fields. Her parents needed her to translate for them as they were working in the fields in California and throughout the Southwest, but particularly California. I was born in Delano, California. My mom, Juanita, pictured here with my father, got married in Yuma, Arizona, and came back to California to live in a small town called Delano, California. That small town is where everything started. And what I mean by everything is that Cesar Chavez came into our life, as well as other people such as Dolores Huerta. Cesar and Dolores, back in the early 60s, were trying to organize farm workers. And they came to talk to my parents. They wanted my parents to become part of an organization that they were trying to develop. They were huelguistas, and they wanted huelguistas. They wanted people who could do strikes. In 1968, my family came here to Colorado, here to Denver, to lead the Great Boycott, the first great boycott that the United Farm Workers of America did. This is where my mother found her voice. And boy, did she find her voice. ¡Viva la huelga! ¡Que viva Cesar Chavez! My family fought. They fought for many, many lives. They fought to better farm workers' lives. They fought to better our lives. They fought and fought. Why tell you the story? Ask me why. Well, my family fought for better conditions in the fields, better education for people in the fields, for better lives. And here we are in 2020. And ICE is out there separating families and putting children in cages. Terrible. This could not have been coming at the worst time. This could have been my mother. This could have been my daughter. Ay, Laura, Laurita, Laurita, mi hijita, ¿cómo te quiere tu madrecita? Laura, Laurita, Laurita, mi hijita, ¿cómo te quiere tu madrecita? We must continue to have our voices heard by everyone. And the only way we're going to be able to do this, as my mother would always tell us, is to get out and vote. Get out and vote. Salgan todos a votar. Es muy importante que todos voten. Tenemos que votar para cambiar cómo son las cosas. We have fought so hard to change and improve people's lives. It's time, people. Children, please get out there and help. Get out there and vote. Get out there and do good trouble. Good trouble. Non-violently. Always non-violently. Thank you. De colores.
De colores. De colores, Guadalupe. Gracias. We now hear from our friend, a retired art teacher from North Carolina, Jennifer Pro, whose Ukrainian ancestry guides her heart, traditions, mind, and hands to the creative revelation of the necessary balance of nature and humankind. The rhythm of her artwork in mandalas creates an energy destined to repeat in an endless rotation. Will it crush us, or can we salvage the essence of humanity and heal? You decide as she presents her beautiful and provocative artwork of mandalas.
Hello, my mandalas are composed of concentric circles on 3 foot by 3 foot canvases in a variety of media: acrylics, metallic markers, photo slides, and colored pencils. They represent the earth, repetition, energy, and the rhythm of life given to us by nature and by God. Heartbeats, breathing, the ticking of time, ocean tides, the earth's rotation. We're given these rhythms, but it's up to us to supply the melodies and to sing them. Life beats down and crushes the soul. Art reminds us that we have one, said by actor Stella Adler. The creative spirit in each of us is unique. It should never be crushed, enslaved, or beaten down. We ridicule other countries for human rights violations, while our own country incarcerates innocent children from countries south of our borders. Babies taken from their mothers. How can they bond? What kind of melodies can they create? Will they be able to create melodies at all, let alone sing them? How can this happen right here and now? My first mandala is called Dichotomies. It's representing opposing elements: geometric, organic, asymmetrical, symmetrical, static, energetic, gravity, zero gravity, order, chaos, construction, destruction, red hot fire, umber, cool earth, together, alone, community, isolation. This mandala speaks to the isolation we feel during this pandemic and our desire to pull our community back together, to rebuild, to warm, to energize it. It can also serve as an analogy for conflicts in life. This is the power of nature, which is in all of us. There's a Mother Nature image that unintentionally morphed into this composition. I'm so happy she did. As women, we're all mothers, if we have children or not. We're the nurturers who guide, care for, and support those who come after us, just as we were nurtured, guided, and supported by those who came before us. Some of us find the energy of our deceased ancestors still palpable. A bulb can push a fragile leaf through dense, gritty soil unscathed, while stone, steel, and concrete structures no longer maintained will be overtaken and crumbled by delicate roots and vines. Angkor Wat, Titlan, Chernobyl. Nature's flexible. It can bend while concrete structures remain vulnerably static. We humans must be flexible too. We must strive to understand and accept, or we will break each other. Flowing tides. The central image is the moon, while the top and the bottom represent opposing shores, a bay, continents, countries. The mandala shows the rhythm of powerful tides pulled by the force of the moon from one shore to another, cleansing, eroding, and smoothing. The force of the moon can cause high energy and emotions. When I was a teacher, I could always tell if there was a full moon without even seeing the sky. And did you all notice this week the power of the full moon? We can use energy creatively, actively, dancing, singing, hiking, painting, acting, composing, or meditatively, basking in the light and the beauty of the moon and the rhythm of the flowing tides. Let's employ our nurturing skills and be the tides that smooth and soothe the edges of conflict. This mandala is tranquility. It depicts a calm, rippling surface water, as well as the great depths of the ocean. The moon alone is giving off a very powerful and intense light as it gently moves the waters below it. We're isolated now more than ever, but our light continues to shine. We still find ways of connecting with each other to keep our spirit of community alive. We are alone, but we are not powerless. Thank you for watching my presentation.
Thank you, Jennifer. That was beautiful, beautiful. So now we bring in Miss Irvia Davis. Miss Davis has been nurtured since birth by her mother, Dr. Joyce Marie Davis, and her father, Dr. Moses C. Davis. Her experiences as an African-American woman in this country in 2020 causes her to hang on to her ancestral guides. And so she lifts their spirit and guiding light through her powerful voice in music, reaching stars that shed light on hope.
Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. In times like these, we need a Savior. In times like these, we need an anchor. Be very sure. Be very sure that your anchor holds and grips the solid rock. This rock is Jesus. Yes, he's the one. This rock is Jesus, the only one. Be very sure. Be very sure that your anchor holds and grips the solid rock. things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Someday we'll walk together and we'll get it all done. Someday when the world is much brighter. Someday we'll walk in the rays of a beautiful sun. Someday when the world is much brighter. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter right now. I am ever so grateful for my mama, for my daddy, and God's amazing gift of music. Thank you.
Ooh, child, everything's going to be brighter. Thank you so much, Irvia. All right. For the first 4 years of her life, social justice activist Marge Tanawaki felt the hurtful suspicions of a country towards her family during World War II, banishing them to Manzanar concentration camp near Death Valley, California. As a U.S. citizen, she values her voice to tell truths, inspiring action for social justice and basic humanity for babies separated from asylum-seeking families. Let us listen to a touching story of her resilient immigrant father, which is followed by her call for action.
My father was a Japanese gardener. I think of him often, especially each spring when the crocus he planted in my backyard bloom in a bright yellow annual display of beauty. Papa tried several jobs after we arrived in Denver from Manzanar concentration camp near Death Valley at the end of World War II. First, he worked in a factory that made soy sauce and grew bean sprouts. It was long hours and very hard work. I grew up in that factory, watching him bend over troughs filled with ice-cold water, washing bean sprouts that eventually found their way to a restaurant diner's table. He wore hip waders, a rubber apron, and gloves to try and stay dry, but it never worked, and his hands were always red and chapped. Papa finally bought a gardening route and tools from a family friend who was going to try his luck back home in Los Angeles. Even though it was seasonal work, gardening provided a little more income when combined with a variety of winter jobs. One year, Papa worked as a dishwasher at the old Park Lane Hotel restaurant near Washington Park. He had to ride the streetcar from where he lived in 5 Points and got frostbitten one night as he waited for the streetcar that was late during a heavy winter snowstorm. I would try to stay awake until he got home, because once in a while he was able to bring home leftovers that wealthy patrons hadn't eaten. Papa would carefully unwrap the white butcher paper to reveal part of a dessert smothered in whipped cream, or the bone from a standing rib roast that still had some meat on it. During another winter, he worked in a greenhouse that grew carnations, and we had mason jars filled with fragrant flowers that the owner said were rejects, not good for sale. I would carefully wind rubber bands around the crushed buds and prop up the broken stems to make a bouquet. Each spring, Papa would load up the truck and take the lawnmowers and other tools to be sharpened. He would buy bedding plants at the nursery and set them into the ground with an unerring eye for beauty. That part of him which produced beauty with his hands also created haiku, the 17-syllable poetry from the land of his birth. Papa's skin was a leathery brown from being out in the sun so much, and the cuffs of his khaki work pants were always filled with grass clippings. Papa cut grass and planted flowers until the day he entered the hospital for the last time. At the early age of 67, he died of cancer caused by malathion and other deadly chemicals he was forced to handle in a survival job to support his family. Several of his white customers lined 6th Avenue as his funeral motorcade passed by on the way to Fairmont Cemetery. And I will always remember the sentiment expressed by one of them who wrote, "Your father was not only a gentleman, he was a gentleman." The Japanese have a saying that goes like this: Kodomo no tameni, for the sake of the children. It means that the actions we take are for the sake of the children. The world that children born today will inherit continues to climb in temperature as oil and gas companies manufacture products that create more and more greenhouse gases instead of using renewable energy. Children continue to be separated from their families in a cruel practice by the U.S. government to deter them from seeking asylum here. At facilities imprisoning women, they are having their reproductive organs removed by unscrupulous doctors when they seek health care for simple medical problems. Like women before us, we must fight these and all of the oppressions that continue to be used against us by the dominant society. Demand the closure of profit-making facilities that incarcerate children in cages, forcing the older children to take care of those who are younger, often infants. Demand a living wage, free public education, decent shelter, health care as a human right, and an end to police brutality. Vote those who are currently in power out of office and demand justice for those who take their place. If you can't vote, help someone who can. All of our lives and the ultimate fate of the earth depends on it. Adelante.
Thank you so much, Marge. That was a beautiful, beautiful and touching story of your father and a very provocative call to action. At this time, we must acknowledge our friend from Santa Fe, Miriam Pino, a musicologist who listens to music for every emotional surge of the conditions and glimpses of nature. Her musical interpretations are the result of listening to the detail in sound and musical arrangements. This talent and ability to match the detail of emotion is musicology. Thank you, Miriam, for providing this presentation with just the right musical underscore. And so, while the spoken word is a new venture for me, I was inspired by the sound of wind. Resting from a long walk, I could hear music created by the wind touching the elements of nature during this quiet time, rising to a beautiful symphony. It calmed the anxiety existing in a time of unrest, the unknown, loss, hate, and despair. It gave me hope. When the wind is the only sound left to hear, feel its rhythm and sway. Relish in the silence of the rests and the din of its crescendo. Shut out the ugly noises of lies and cries of false prophets. They are not meant to quiet our fears. Listen for that stillness that only we can hear in states of resignation, but not surrender. Our spirits will become one with the wind, creating a sonata with movements contrasting each other, creating a symphony rising to a crescendo, creating a ballad telling her own story, creating an aria of a solo voice calming our senses. Mother Earth wants to play her music. Mother Earth is speaking to you, calling you to an embrace. Be calm and just listen to her dulcet tones. So thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. And we ask that you put your bring back your videos and bring back your sound, everyone, and give these beautiful women a big round of applause. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much again for being here. There have been beautiful comments throughout this evening, but we'd love to open it up to questions or comments, and if you will, type them into the, why don't we do this first? Please have everybody, all of the performers, please introduce yourselves. So I will point you out. Yolanda, you first.
Yolanda Ortega, I'm with the company of Su Teatro, and also I do several things around the community, including, I see Jessie Olgas here. I'm on the board for Firefly Autism, and also on KUBO, Canción Mexicana.
So for those of you who came in a little bit late, Yolanda and I have co-produced tonight's event. We've also co-directed, and I'm going to ask her to speak in a minute. Margie Domingo.
Hi, thank you all for coming. I am a retired ESL teacher. I have taught ESL for about 15 years, and I am able to get back to my poetry. I have self-published 2 books of poetry in the past, and I hope to concentrate more on short stories and children's stories. And thank you for coming again.
Marge Tanawaki.
Hi, I'm Marge Taniwaki. I regularly give presentations on the incarceration of Japanese Americans during World War II, and many people aren't aware that Japanese from Latin America were also forced to come to the United States and were imprisoned in a place called Crystal City in Texas, very near Dilley, Texas, where there is one of the prisons that is holding the children who have been separated from their families by the Trump administration. So we're working to get those closed down, to get ICE out of the picture and make things right for everyone.
Sylvia Montero.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining our YouTube. My name is Sylvia Montero. I'm a visual artist and a performing artist, and I'm a painter, a printmaker, and a photographer.
Jennifer Pro.
Hello, I'm a retired art teacher and also a retired daylily farm owner and grower. And my husband and I started that business after we finished teaching. I have done artwork all throughout my life. I've always been interested in mandalas for many, many years. And I love having the time right now. Even though we are so isolated during this pandemic, it gives me a great opportunity for studio time. And so I've been enjoying doing that. And I like to weave in the way we as humans connect with nature.
Guadalupe Herrera, and you want to unmute yourself.
Hi, Guadalupe Herrera. I am a professional planner. And in addition to that, I also sing, play the guitar, and I help manage my daughter, who is a professional singer and video performer, that you can find on YouTube, Laura Cerros or Lala Cerros. Pleasure being here, and this was wonderful. My mom, Juanita Herrera, was a union organizer. She has passed away as of about now it's 3 years. I can't believe time has gone by so fast. She's still in our hearts, and she will always be in this house. I mean, in this family, our leader, the person who had a vision, and she came out and she did her thing, and everybody else has just been falling in place the way she organized us all to do, and we really do appreciate everything she taught us. Every one of my family is an organizer and a community leader in their own right. Thank you.
And our musicologist, Miriam Pino from Santa.
I'm from Santa Fe, yes, but that really doesn't have any bearing on the fact that I've been in music for a long time, since I was 6. So it's my passion, and I'm just thankful that these ladies let me help them out here. Thank you.
And Irvia Davis.
Yes, hello. My name is Irvia P. Davis, and I am a musician. I've worked with Su Teatro and The Source, formerly known as Ulithians Cultural Center. And music, if you haven't figured that out yet, is my life. And it's something that I've enjoyed, and I enjoy being a part of, being a music director for a few presentations and things of that sort. So I look forward to hopefully getting back in the swing of things. And it's a blessing to be here. And thank you all so much for watching.
I'd like to ask either Mika or Tony from Su Teatro to come on the screen so that you could, we could thank you for allowing us the opportunity to use your platform, but more importantly, for all the support that you gave us. Is someone here from Su Teatro? You want to take your mute off, Mika?
Sure. Thanks everyone for joining us this evening. I know Deborah's going to go into questions and answers. We hope you'll consider, we have a series called Short, Funny, and Weird starting next Friday. Yolanda will be there. We'll have to be doing different things each week. Next week's, all of the stories are short, funny, and weird. And some are a little scary, and they'll be Fridays at 6:30 for the rest of the month. So we hope you'll join us. You sign up at the same place you signed up for this. And thank you, Deborah and Yolanda, for creating this evening's performance.
Thank you.
I think it's going to be difficult to figure out how to get everybody to speak that want to. So let me at least start this way. I will read one of the posts that were put, and then I'm going to ask Yolanda to speak. Or I should let you speak first.
Well, no, I was just going to ask anybody, you're welcome to turn on your videos. We'd love to see you. Even though you may have your pajamas on, it's okay. Join us, and we seriously would love to hear from you. Even though we're going to read some of the chats, we'd love to hear from you and see what your thinking was, what